Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a first perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is the real reason Serge Ibaka and Kawhi Leonard are going to lead these damn Clippers to the NBA title. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out our Dreamerspro Podcast, which we have linked in the description below. And be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro Premium platform that we are launching on in the first week of January. So be on the lookout for that. We'll keep you guys posted. We're really excited about that. But anyway, let me get back into the topic here. Now, all of this originates from a clip I saw with Serge. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. But let me just do my thing here. Now, Serge Ibaka, for me, I think was one of the most important acquisitions this offseason for any championship team, just like the Milwaukee Bucks, who recently just retained Giannis Antetokounmpo, who signed the biggest contract in NBA history, worth over $228 million, who picked up Jrue Holiday, who was one of the best two-way players in basketball, truly one of the best two-way players in basketball, sensational player, fantastic player. That was a really good move for them. But he's right up there, including the Lakers, who got Montrezl Harrell. But Serge Ibaka was acquired from the Toronto Raptors to replace what's his name, Montrezl Harrell, right? And for me, I think it was a really good acquisition, to be honest with you. Now, Serge Ibaka had a fantastic season with the Toronto Raptors last season. Let me just break down his numbers for you. He had a career year. He averaged 15.4 points, which is the highest points he ever averaged in his career. He's had seasons where he's actually had more blocks. He only averaged 0.8 blocks per game. But one year he averaged 3.7 blocks, and the next year he averaged 3 blocks a game. So he led the league in blocks 2 times, but he averaged 0.8, last season. He averaged 0.5 in steals. He averaged 1.4 assists, 8.2 rebounds, which is also really good. He shot 71% from the free throw line, which is respectable for a big man. He shot 38.5% from the three, which is actually really good as a center, as a stretch center. He shot 52% from the field and doing this all in 28 minutes. Now, he's a fantastic player, and he's also a gamer because he was also part of the Toronto Raptors title. When they won the title, he was part of that championship. Run. Now, why do we like him for that team, right? And some of you guys who may be wondering, am I a Clippers fan? I'm a Kawhi Leonard fan, so therefore I support the Clippers because that's the team he plays for. Similarly to LeBron James, Shannon Sharpe and LeBron James. If LeBron James decided to go play with the Miami Heat or the New York Knicks, Shannon Sharpe would be a New York Knicks fan. Pretty much similar there. So for those of you guys who are unaware. Now, let's look at the things that this guy actually brings to this team. Number one, he brings some rim protection, which is something that they needed last season. It's something Montrezl Harrell did not provide. Although Montrezl Harrell is a much better scorer, the guy averaged almost 19 points per game. I think 7 rebounds coming off the bench last season. So the guy is a stud. He's a very talented player, very good, very high energy. He can score off the bench and he can score buckets in a hurry. And he plays with a lot of energy and a lot of ferocity, which is something that I like, and that's why I liked Montrezl Harrell, to be honest with you. But he doesn't have the size. Serge Ibaka can get you 15 a game, or in this case, maybe 13, 12, maybe 10 to 13 points per game. But he can also provide some rim protection, which is something that the Clippers needed. Last season in the playoffs, they were completely manhandled by Nikola Jokic, but Nikola Jokic is that talented. The only difference is when the Denver Nuggets played the Lakers were a better matchup. Some people don't understand that matchups also make series. It was a better matchup for the Lakers because they had more size. They had Dwight Howard, who's a multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year. They had him there to anchor the defense. They also had JaVale McGee, which is a lot of length. And they had Anthony Davis, who one could have argued could have been the Defensive Player of the Year last season. So the Lakers were better equipped to beat the Nuggets than I think the Clippers, but that's neither here nor there because we never knew because they never played each other. But Serge Ibaka also provides spacing because he can stretch the floor, he can hit the mid-range, he can also hit the three. Now, what does that do? It allows centers from opposing teams not to pack the paint. Because if they pack the paint, it makes it a little bit difficult for some of the guards and point guards and small forwards to actually attack the basket because they can just pack the paint because the center cannot bring them out. So that's something that Serge brings, and it's Paul George spoke about how it's an adjustment because now you're playing with somebody instead of that just pick and rolls hard to the basket like a Montrez. This guy can roll, but he also pops. So it's something he's trying to get used to. And if you've been watching some of the preseason Clippers games, you'll notice that Serge Ibaka has been popping a lot, especially all the way out to the three-point line, which stretches the floor, which also helps other players on the team. So that's something he brings to the floor from a tactical standpoint. But the most important part I really want to focus in on is the relationship between him and Kawhi Leonard. That's really what I want, because this video is really targeted towards team chemistry, which was one of the things that the Clippers lacked last season. And you can saw they were kind of disjointed and disconnected on the floor and off the floor. Now, let's talk about some of the comments that Serge Ibaka recently made, and this was through via the Clippers. So let's talk about some of the comments that Serge Ibaka made. He said, having Kawhi Leonard here really helped me a lot with making the decision to play here because I think we understand each other. This is some of his quotes. He even went on to say, Kawhi Leonard is the type of person that you have to know him to understand him, right? And to me, that point is not lost on me, right? That's a point he made, because some people have criticized Kawhi for being a bit aloof, being a bit standoffish. He's a little bit to himself, but no two people are the same. No two people are the same. You and I are different, just like the next person is different. And what Serge is saying is that, listen, I understand what makes this guy tick, right? Kawhi Leonard, having Serge Ibaka on that team, plays a bigger role than some people understand. If y'all remember, when he was with the Toronto Raptors, one of the keys to that acquisition was the fact that they sent Danny Green to the Toronto Raptors with Kawhi Leonard. Why? Because Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard had a relationship. And it plays an important role when you're on a new team, right? He was able to bring, and now they're able to bring in a Serge Ibaka to this team. But the difference is him and Serge have won titles, just like Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard had won titles in the past before. Danny Green was finishing those games with the Toronto Raptors when they were making their run deep into the playoffs, and they ultimately won the NBA title. It's the same thing with Serge Ibaka, number one. Number two, given the fact that Serge is there, and Serge understands Kawhi, Serge can also play off of that and play and kind of coexist even better with the other teammates, because he can understand what Kawhi Leonard may be feeling, but not necessarily be saying, but still be able to convey that message to his teammates, right? Because it's all about understanding your personnel. I think people are not taking the fact of chemistry. They're not taking into account chemistry, and that the fact that these two guys mesh well on the court. And listen to Serge Ibaka sort of in his own words explain that. It's one thing if you read a quote, right? It's one thing if you read a quote and you're reading what somebody's saying. It's another thing to hear that person actually articulate that thing audibly, and you can hear it and see it, and okay, so that's what he really means. And to me, I think it's going to help the Clippers a lot, and I think most people are not paying attention to that. Now, I'm saying that this can help him lead the championship because I still do believe the Clippers can win the title, right? Now, I may be wrong, but I'm telling you what I believe, right? I'm not going to tell you what you want me to believe. I'm telling you what I believe, right? We all don't need to believe the same thing. And otherwise, like, why would fans go and cheer on their team? Every time fans go to their arena to cheer on their team, they believe their team is going to win. Nobody goes there hoping their team is going to lose, right? They go there to cheer on their team in the hopes that they win. So I'm telling you what I think will happen because I hope that's what happens. But I'm telling you what I think, not what you think. So for me, I think it's going to help, and it's going to go a long way to the Clippers capturing their first title, because these two guys have an energy together that works really well, and I think it's going to help probably lead them to win the NBA title. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but whatever. At least I'm telling you what I think, right? And I'm not going to come up here and lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what I think. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about the Serge Ibaka acquisition from a chemistry standpoint, apart from the X and O's? And what do you think about the comments that he made referring to his decision to come join the Clippers and his relationship to Kawhi Leonard? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.